sign that you heard? I don't know if it was loud enough. Did you hear the interview?
Yes, but it was a bit rowdy.
Ah, okay, maybe if we have time, I'll play it again before our Prime Minister comes. Okay, so we want to look at this KRING, which is the new axis of evil, and why Iran's fall changes everything for the terrorist country, Nigeria. Ah, Onyenyo, you are thumping down. You did not hear? Oh, I don't understand your thumping down. Okay, let me bring you down now. Maybe you're not hearing us again. All right, I will give you the mic again. So, um, okay, hold on, please. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay, I have sent it again. Yeah. So during the Cold War, there was a what they call the iron curtain, you know, and that was a line between the American Democratic Allies and the Soviet Communist bloc. So that time they call it um, Cold War Iron Curtain. But today, and that curtain fell in 1991. But today, being in this current year of 2026, a new curtain has gone up. It does not have a wall yet. It's just as real as it is, just as dangerous and far more. So these 1, 2, 3, they came together and formed what is called KRING. These are 4 countries and are increasingly cooperating to challenge the United States and the entire international order built after World War II. So they are united by one shared goal. Your enemies will always come together to achieve one thing. And their goal now is that they want America to end their leadership globally. That is their aim. So China and Russia, they compete with each other. Iran and North Korea have almost nothing culturally in common, but each one is willing to help the other now weaken the Western part. Because every time the West is weakened, they all gain. Now, their cooperation has spanned military assistance and drone warfare technology, cyber operation, and all that, discounted all trade, which is now the main thing. And this discounted oil trade has violated sanctions and economic operations, and they've also designed it to bypass the US dollars. So, Russia war on Ukraine has served as the critical catalyst that locked this alliance in place. Now, let's look at what is happening. Let's look at Iran's role, which is the drone factory of what is happening in the world today. Now, 38,000 plus Iranian-made Shahed drones launched by Russia against Russia in 2025 alone, including 5,000 in September. 1,000 per week is what they produce. So the rate of drone launch by Russia from that time till March 2025, initially it was 200 per day or per week, but now it has increased to 1,000. And they were all using Iranian drone technology. I want to arrive at something. Stay with me. So these drones have become Russia's most terrifying and cost-effective weapon in Ukraine. They call this their drone Shahed drone, and it costs only $10,000. which is just a fraction of their missile. So Russia first imported them from Iran and then localized the production, in their own country using Iranian engineering knowledge. And every Ukrainian hospital that was bombed, every power station that was destroyed, every child pulled from the rubble of a Kyiv has an Iranian fingerprint on it. Now, let's look at North Korea's role in what we are talking about. Stay with me. I want to arrive at something. North Korea, let's look at 14,000 to 15,000. North Korea have deployed their troops to Russia since late 2020 and early 2025. So they've deployed workers to Russia to help in the drone factories using Iranian technology and Chinese equipment. And North Korea has earned up to 12.3 billion US dollars from supplying weapons and troops to Russia. I want you to understand what America is doing, that it is not a child's play. America dealt from the root. The main enemy here is China, not even Iran. The main snakehead is China. But Iran was feeding China, and China is feeding Nigeria, and Nigeria is feeding China. So imagine North Korea making this money every year by supplying weapons and troops to Russia to help Russia to increase their productivity. Okay? Now, in return, what will Russia give to North Korea? Russia give North Korea Iranian drone technology. They give space technology assistance to North Korea. They also give advanced electronic warfare system to North Korea. None of them is giving food, though. They are all distributing weapons. Russia is giving North Korea anti-craft missiles and also helped to design North Korea new military destroyer. North Korea also received a nuclear submarine reactor, they call it reactor. So CRINC is a weapon exchange program. That is why I said none of them is exchanging food. None of them is exchanging medical facilities. They are all exchanging weapons. The four of them coming together. Three. Yeah, four. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Four of them. So it's a weapon exchange program that they're doing where everyone upgrades each other. Russia will upgrade North Korea. North Korea will upgrade uh, um, Iran, all of them, they are exchanging weapons. So now, when you look at the role of China in this drink, you see that 400%, the increase in China's import of Iranian oil between 2021 and the first half of 2025, 400% increment. So China is throwing Iran an economic lifeline. While Western sanctions were supposed to be starving them, China is there feeding Iran by buying oil from Iran. And what are they really buying? Russia oil that China imports per day in the first half of 2025 was 1.5 million barrels, 80% more than 2021 level. So China is single-handedly keeping both Russia and Iran financially alive. Now, China does not send troops, so China does not send troops like North Korea and Iran. It does not send drones. But without China, the entire CRINC axis will collapse economically. I don't know if I'm making sense before we go to the main thing. So China provides dual-use goods, equipment with both military and commercial application to Russia defense industry. Ukrainian military intelligence identified 200 component parts made in China being used in Russia long-range attack drones. That's what they discovered. So Donald Trump is not only reshuffling the deck. No. He laid the cards out of the players, and China now has a terrible hand because China provided Iran their most advanced air defense system. which has been totally decimated by the United States and the Israelis. And the economic hit is massive. So China investment is high because they've invested more than 100 billion US dollars on Iran. And they're not going to get that money back. The same way Nigerian terrorist government have also borrowed money from China, using our oil as collateral. I told us some days ago, weeks ago, that they have borrowed money that they will use. China will continue to drill our oil. All those countries that they've borrowed money from, they have used that as collateral. They will continue to drill our oil till 30 years to come. And they are borrowing this money to fund terrorism. So it was a direct blow to China when Iran was struck. China buys approximately 90% of Iran's oil and roughly 1.3 million barrels per day. If China is getting 1.38 million barrels of oil per day from China, guess how many they are getting from Nigeria? Plus the money that they've borrowed Nigeria. This is only oil. I'm not talking of uranium. We are coming to that side. So it represents 13 to 14% of China total seaborne crude import. So Iran provides China with heavily discounted oil. That is why China is going, because Iran is selling the oil very cheap to China. The same thing Nigeria is doing, very cheap to China. Because why? China has bypassed Western sanctions. They are also CPC. Iran is also CPC. So they say, okay, China, help us buy this oil. We are starving economically. China say, hey, you want me? They say, okay, let us form what we call cring. You will give me this oil at a discounted price. Instead of you to just stack the oil and you are not using it, you are already designated as CPC. You have so many sanctions. So they went and did this backyard business. So this arrangement now gives China cheaper energy and gives Iran the revenue to fund Hezbollah, to fund Hamas, to fund ISWAP, and the proxy terror network worldwide Donald Trump was talking about. So if there is a collapse of central authority in Iran, tens of thousands of Afghan former soldiers living in exile, they could use that power vacuum to mobilize, return home, and then fight against Taliban. Receiving report from Hezbollah has activated itself in Nigeria. That is what they have done right now, and possibly coordinating with jihadists against US and Israeli interests. So this is not new, because in 2013, Nigeria arrested Hezbollah cell in KANU with RPG and landmines, planning attack on Israel targets. Now, with Iran now collapsing, Hezbollah is desperate, very, very desperate, because their engine is down. So if they link up with Boko Haram or ISWAP, we are looking at a whole new war. US and Israeli interest in Nigeria becomes prime target. So this is why FBI is already in Ivory Coast hunting Hezbollah money men, hunting them 2-4, and they will come to Nigeria next. That is why we say Nigeria deserves this epic fury. So the question is, will our NSA, who call terrorist brothers, stop them? The answer is no, they cannot stop them. They cannot stop America from coming. So when Trump and Israel struck Iran, they did not just hit a country, they hit China's oil supply. They hit the discounted energy arrangement that was keeping China's economy competitive while funding global terrorism. So in a worst case scenario, with the Strait of Hormuz that has been closed right now, hey, you will see that it has collapsed crude oil prices. And the price will go up because only few people will have. That is the only place that 20% of global oil pass through. And it is a devastating blow to China. Initially, when this strike started, they only opened it, Iran only opened it for China, but now US have completely closed it. Now, where is China falling on? They're falling now on Nigeria. Now, let's look at another scenario here. Let's go back to Venezuela. Cutting off China's backup oil supply, because after Iran, wait, so let me send the mic to you. After Iran, the second backup that China had was Venezuela. And we saw what happened in January, early this year, where United States launched one of its most modern military operations. And they had to seize Venezuelan president, which is still there with them and the wife and all that. Now, that also affected Cuba because 32 Cuban nationals they were also attached to Maduro. They were killed as well, revealing that Cuba had hidden military forces inside Venezuela for years, while publicly denying it, just like what that idiot is doing in the interview. So China imported approximately 389,000 barrels per day from Venezuela oil in 2025. And Venezuela was China's backup while Iranian supply was threatened. So they said, okay, let us get from Venezuela. So the two countries now even relabeled Iranian and Venezuelan barrels to disguise their origin and evade sanction. So Trump seized Venezuela at exactly the same time he was preparing Iran strike, cutting off both of China's discounted oil sources because they were also selling oil very cheap to China. China loves cheap things and they will also mass produce cheap things. So Cuba now faces most severe economic crisis since the Soviet Union collapsed because it relies mostly and entirely on Venezuelan oil. Maduro is gone. Maduro is gone. So Cuba's lifeline now is cut off. We have India also because BRICS have not completely lose out. India signed a landmark trade deal with the United States in 2026. You know, before they were member of BRICS. They are still there, but they are still there partially because of the threat of tariff from United States. So they are just one leg in, one leg out. You know, Trump reduced punishing tariff on India from 50% to 18%. So India and Brazil also opted out of BRICS naval drills, refusing to participate in their military exercise alongside with China, Russia, and Iran. Even though India is not fully America's ally, as I said, one leg in and one leg out. Now, let's connect everything together before I continue. Look at what is happening here. Tinubu signed 9 defense agreements with Turkey early this year, 1 month after Donald Trump bombed Nigeria, according to the instruction of Gumi. Turkey is a NATO member that sells arms deal with Gulf Islamic Network. They sell drones to both sides of Africa conflict and has historically served as a financial bridge between the Western Alliance and the Krink orbit. So Gumi, that is speaking the same language with Ribadu, officially advised Nigeria to reduce US military cooperation and seek alternative security partnership because they know what was coming. That was why Tinubu signed this agreement with Turkey after the airstrike that took place. Now, how did Iran colonize Nigeria? I don't know if I'm making some connections here. Iran planted a seed in Nigeria in 1980. 1980. 1 year after Ayatollah seized power in Iran and declared Islamic Republic, he sent agents across the world to export that revolution. And Nigeria was a primary target because Nigeria is the African most populous nation. We have oil, and that oil, they don't know that the oil is from Biafra land. So they feel that Nigeria owns the oil, and it has a large population of Muslims because now all the terrorists in the Sahel region have migrated to Nigeria illegally. And they even now, right now, they are even claiming that Nigeria have more Muslim than any Arab country except Egypt. That is the picture they want to create. If you look at the map of Nigeria today, you see that they even say Muslims are 60% and Christians are minority. That is the propaganda that they have generated to deceive people. So the strategic value of Nigeria to the Iranian Revolution project was so enormous, and at the time Nigeria had No Shia Muslim in that 1980. There was no Shia Muslim presence in Nigeria. So that year, a young economic student, which we call today Zazaki, his real name is Sheikh Ibrahim Zazaki, had to go and visit this Ayatollah. And when he came back, he received indoctrination training directly from this man, Revolution Network. He came back to Nigeria wearing the traditional white turban of a Shia cleric, and he set to work building, recruiting, and expanding the ideology of Ayatollah. And today, this year, there are over 15 million people in Nigeria who has followed this movement. You see? So this is not a organic religious growth. No. This is a 46-year state-funded by Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps directed program of ideological colonization executed inside Nigeria, while their leaders, called the implementers, brothers. Take note of the date, 1980 is when this seed was planted. Now, when this seed was planted, it started having layers of Iran infrastructure in Nigeria, because Iran did not just send ideology. Iran built a complete layer institutional infrastructure inside Nigeria. I listed 5 of them because we need to understand this very clearly. They have school, organized system, they have schools, they have media, they have training camps, they have financial pipeline, they have a geographic reach into 4 other West African countries. Let me just come. It is an extension of Usman Danfodio that is playing out here. But this one now came from Iran direction to continue that template. So the first layer is the schools that they have. It is very, very important and imperative that we pay attention to the schools our students, our children are attending. Everything that is free is not good. Zazaki Islamic Movement of Nigeria has established over 300 schools across northern Nigeria. And what are they doing? Because our people love free things. The education is free, so they call it poor families. So once you declare yourself as a poor family, oh yeah, come to school, is free of charge. And when you go there, you are going to be Islamized. That is the purpose that you are getting the free education. So today, they've also run 5 seminaries through Al Mustafa International University with nearly 1,000 students from Nigeria and neighboring countries. So Al Mustafa serves as a pipeline, sending dozens of Nigerian students each year to what they call QUM, Q-O-M, which is Iran religious capital, for intensive IRGC-linked ideological training. This is Iran Revolutionary Guard. So this is how they build a permanent base, not with armies, but with classrooms. They use their classroom to build this base for them. And the second layer that they have is the media. Iran established what they call Hausa TV, which it was described by the Iranian Al-Bayt World Assembly as the first Iranian media outlet that focuses on the African continent. These people made us to be poor for this same purpose, to Islamize everyone. So the main primary audience is Nigeria Hausa speaking population. That is why today they have become victims. They've slaughtered all the Hausas. Hausa, there are not many anymore. So this Islamic movement now have also published magazines in English and Hausa and operate a Hausa language radio station called Shohada. Remember that before 1980, we were living peacefully in that country, or that contraption, Nigeria. So they have opened their radio station and it is functioning very well in the northern states. They have released hundreds of DVDs carrying Iranian propaganda. That was why you saw those students coming out yesterday. Those are products from the schools, the 300 schools in the northern states. It was not only one center. They carried out that rally in all the 12 states in the northern state of Nigeria. The third layer that they have, and the one that should alarm America the most, is the training camps, and should also alarm each and every one of us in this space, and those that will listen later. The National Council of Resistance of Iran, they published a documentary report in December 2021, and they warned this IRGC. They warned that they have established actual physical training centers. And when you listen to me initially, you could also hear the same report. They have a training center for Zazaki's militants in the northern Nigeria region. Where do they have it? In KANU and Sokoto. So when you hear that America bombed Sokoto, and when you also hear that America mentioned Kwankwaso was the governor of KANU when this training center was established. Yes, he was the acting governor. So he cannot tell me he doesn't know anything about this training center in Kano State. It is a lie. So they have Unit 400 specifically tasked with expanding terrains, that is Iran's foreign influence. They've built arms smuggling network in Nigeria using these training centers as cover. You now understand why US bombed Sokoto? Until today, Sultan of Sokoto cannot say a word because a lot was destroyed. So the Nigerian government, they know all this, but they did nothing because these are their brothers. The fourth one now is the money aspect. The money is the fourth layer. This is US Treasury documentation. I'm not the one that said it. In May 2025, United States Treasury Department sanctioned a Hezbollah senior official named Hassan. Specifically for what? And I'm going to read the official designation. These are not my words. Coordinating the delivery of hundreds of thousands of US dollars to the Hezbollah-aligned Islamic movement of Nigeria. Not millions, so hundreds of thousands documented in a single transaction record. The Treasury also noted that NEMA managed millions of dollars in total transactions for Hezbollah's African network. This money built the infrastructure that organized and protects protests you saw this week. Remember when I told that Hezbollah was a baby, a first son to Ayatollah, and they are so desperate now. And they have started building their cells. Who will be in that their cells? Christians, that are me and you, Biafrans. They will lock them up in that cell, they will kill them, and they will cut their body part, sell it, and make money. And one idiot was here telling me that he's in homeland, he doesn't have money. But you have money to drink ogogoro. You have money to carry woman to hotel, but you don't have money to fund your freedom. I'm still waiting for him to come back. He ran away. You have money to go and play this one. What do they call this one? Bet Niger. But you don't have money to fund your freedom. You are coming to cry. Sit on your bed, lie down there and sleep. We will bring money and give you freedom free of charge. The fifth layer is the regional expansion. Because when this man sowed the seed, it started growing and there were layers in each of the soil. Layers were piled up. So this Islamic movement of Nigeria indoctrination effort have spread far beyond Nigeria. Very far. The network now has documented active operations in Niger, they are there, in Cameroon, they are there, in Chad, they are there, Burkina Faso, they are there, Ghana, they are there. So Nigeria was Iran's like beachhead for every other part in West Africa. So West Africa is Iran's target, and Nigerian government, which knew about all of this, allowed it to grow for 46 years. And they are calling these people our brothers. I don't know if you are following me. So Hezbollah have armed depot in Kano. They have it. And the terrorist Nigeria, they know. As I said, Kwankwaso, when did they have this? In 2013. Kwankwaso was the governor in 2003, starting from May 99 to May 2003. His second term, he became the governor May 2011 to May 2015. So during this time that Hezbollah have this armed guinea would I even call self arms depot in Kano, Kwankwaso was the governor. It was hidden, a hidden underground bunker dug beneath the master bedroom of a residential home in the upmarket. They call it Bompai neighborhood of Kano. After a month of long investigation, and the Kano State Director of the State Security Service called it an armory. That was the word he used, an armory for the international terrorist network Hezbollah. And what did they find out? They found 103 packages of TNT explosives. They found 76 military hand grenades. They found 21 rocket-propelled grenades and 1 RPG launcher, 11 anti-tank weapons, 4 anti-tank landmines, so many weapons. So many. And all of them are weapons of mass destruction. 3 Lebanese nationals were also part of the game. They were arrested. They confessed to being a member of Hezbollah and training as well. And what did they do after that? They released those people. And that was the end of discussion. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying. Weapons were found inside one house, in one person's house. All these